I hear a lot about narcissists. I hear a lot about psychopaths. The word that I hear tossed around but not explained a lot is Machiavellians. What is that? I know that you know a lot about it. You've paid a lot of attention to it.
So Machiavellianism is the sneaky of the three traits. And as I've said many times in my career, and I continue to emphasize, they're the most societally dangerous of the three traits because they're not the most transparent. They're actually shrouded in secrecy, which is why people often get the trait confused for other traits. They're shrouded in secrecy. They're very situationally dependent. They can be the nicest, most ethically behaving person, depending on what is in it for them. And so there's a lot of research in the organizational behavior literature showing that they'll engage in voluntary behaviors. There's a great researcher out in Hungary called Tomasz Beretsky who showed that they'll volunteer at a high or even higher clip than others if they get social or instrumental recognition for it. So the situation is very much indicative of how they're going to behave with respect to ethics. Now, to be clear, there's no behavior they would object to on ethical grounds. Much like psychopathic, narcissistic, Machiavellian, they're all willing to do whatever. It's just whether or not it's going to be expedient in pursuing their goals. It's just pragmatics as to whether they'll actually engage in the behavior or not, which makes them so dangerous because they'll hold off. The example I always give is a wallet on the table. If there's a wallet on the table and there's absolutely no consequence, it's a stranger's wallet, all three will take the wallet and help themselves to the content of the wallet. But if it's your CEO or your boss or your leader that left the wallet in the room and there's a lot of money there, but there are cameras everywhere and things like that, the Machiavellian will be the first one to return it in full cash, nothing taken, to the boss and say, hey, I found your wallet. I just want to protect you and make sure nobody else took it. Machiavellian will do that. Psychopath may still take the contents of the wallet because of the immediate gratification associated with the trait. So that is a key differential factor in how Machiavellians behave, is the situational consequences associated with the behavior.
So a Machiavellian has the low conscience of a psychopath, but doesn't have the impulsive behavior.
Exactly. They have they're thinking down the road. They're thinking long-term goals. They're thinking strategically. There's another great paper by Esberger and Beretsky, that same author I was talking about, that shows they spontaneously mentalize when they're interacting with somebody there's a zero-sum negotiation or there's some conflict, whether it's positive or negative, going on. They think like a chess match. They're thinking, what is Brad going to do next? And how can I counter what Brad's likely to do based on this situation? And how can I make sure I come out of the situation with maximal gain for myself, but don't look like I'm trying to. So they're thinking strategically, spontaneously mentalizing what their opponent's going to do so they can stay one up in the interaction. None of the other dark personality traits do that type of stuff as far as I know. And so that, I think, is really makes them the most societally dangerous. As I said in my talk, psychopaths will mug you, narcissists will charm you, Machiavellians will invade you. They will cultivate an army and a coalition. And before you realize they're a threat, it's already too late. And they're the ones that keep me up at night. They're the ones that freak me out. Because if they're smooth and thoughtful enough and intelligent enough and strategic enough, you'll never see it coming.
To go even deeper on these ideas, you can watch my full episode using the link in the description or the box on the screen.